Hello again, and welcome to another episode of TPG Reviews. I'm going to talk right now about the latest episode of American Crime Story, The Assassination of Gianni Versace. Now, this episode, it dealt with several different things. It dealt mostly with Jeff Trail, who was the first person that was murdered by Andrew Cunanan. And basically it starts off with Jeff is at work and he gets a message that his Andrew's coming to town and all this kind of stuff, and it flashes back to Jeff being in the military. And you find out that Jeff is in the military. He's actually in the Navy. He was in the Navy, and he's very proud of that fact. He worked very hard, and one day he saves a gay guy from being beaten to death by some military soldiers. And of course then it's everybody starts believing that he's gay. And then later on in the episode, he saves the guy again from being brutally beaten again. So they go on kind of a witch hunt for people that are gay and all this kind of stuff. And they talk about a tattoo, and that they had caught a guy doing lewd acts at a dock, and they're going to investigate. And the guy has agreed to, if he's not kicked out of the military, that he'll tell everyone he's ever had sex with or done things to, as long as by their tattoos. So it shows Jeff going in the bathroom and trying to cut off his tattoo. And by the way, Jeff is played by Finn Wittrock, and I love Finn Wittrock. He's such a great actor, and he's so intense as an actor, and he's really good. So you see him trying to cut off his tattoo that doesn't work. He's then called in, and he's given a document that shows how homosexuals are not allowed in the military, blah blah blah, and it just really really stresses him out. So he actually almost tries to commit suicide, but he doesn't. He then actually goes in and does a speech for the news about homosexuality and things like that, but he's kept, of course, hidden. They black their face out and things like that. Well, he ends up going to a bar, and in the bar he actually meets Andrew Cunanan, again played by Darren Criss, excellently played by Darren Criss, and they kind of start off a little friendship thing. And I think that Andrew actually was kind of in love with him, but he didn't really, I don't know, Jeff I don't think felt the same way, but the two of them started a really good friendship. And basically it then goes, Jeff gets out of the military and things like that. He goes back home, and Andrew is going to come visit. Well, Jeff goes back to Minneapolis with his best friend, David, who was the second person Andrew killed. We had talked about that in a previous episode review. And you find out that Jeff really, is not happy that he's coming to visit and all this kind of stuff. They go to the airport, and Jeff is like, I'm going to lie to him and tell him that I'm out of town. He can stay at my house, etc., etc., etc. So they go, and the very first night you see him with David, and Andrew Cunanan is like telling everyone that he's just in love with David. He tries to propose marriage to David. David's like, no, I don't want to be with you like that, Andrew. They go out to a couple places together. Andrew keeps telling everybody that David is his husband or his boyfriend or soon-to-be husband or whatever. Just another delusion in his mind. It was absolutely crazy. And it just kept getting worse and worse, and David kept trying to say, we're not together. They had a little argument, whatever. So Cunanan then goes to stay the night at Jeff's apartment. Jeff, of course, is staying with his sister, who's having a baby. And while Cunanan is in his apartment, of course, he tries on Jeff's suit and all this kind of stuff, which was his prized possession, goes through his stuff, watches the video of Jeff on the news when he did the thing, and just really creepy stuff that he did. And he then steals Jeff's gun. So, Jeff basically kicks him out, and he leaves. And so he goes over to David's house, and David, of course, has a trick there. For those who don't know, a trick is just a one-night stand kind of thing. Cunanan basically makes him feel so uncomfortable, the guy leaves. He starts really just having this weird argument with David, and tells him that Jeff is on his way up. Jeff then calls and Cunanan calls Jeff, says, I have your gun. If you want it, you need to come over here and get it. Jeff says, you better not have my gun. He realizes that Cunanan did have his gun. He says, I'll be right there. And so he rushes over to get the gun. When he gets there, as I said in the previous episode, Cunanan jumps him, beats him to death with a hammer, and kills him. And that's basically how the episode ended. So it really went into detail about the killing of Jeff Trail. Now, as we know, so far he's now killed all of his victims in the show. So I want to see what happens next, because his first victim he killed, Andrew Cunanan killed, was Jeff Trail. Then the second was David, which he took after the killing, and he basically blackmailed David into traveling with him for a little while, and he ended up killing David, I think like 3 days later. He then killed Lee Miglin in Chicago, who was a realtor. He killed a man in a cemetery for his truck, and then of course he went and killed Versace. So he's now officially in the episode, he's killed all the people that he's killed. So I'm really wondering and excited about where the show is going to go next. This episode was really good. It was really intense. It dealt a lot with homosexuality and the military and gays in the military and things like that. And and how it was dealt with at that time period and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that is my review of the new American Crime Story. It was a great episode this week. I'm really excited for Wednesday night. I don't think there's but a few episodes left, so hopefully it'll all start coming to an end. If you've been following it, it's great. It comes on FX on Wednesday nights at 10 o'clock. I'm sure you can get it on DirecTV or whatever if you haven't been able to catch it. It is a really, really great story. So anyway, guys, thank you. Take care, and thanks for watching TPG Reviews. Please remember to hit that big red button at the bottom if you haven't already. Make sure you leave me a thumbs up. And anyway, remember that hating is a disease, and some folks need to get well soon. Okay, guys, talk to you later. Bye.